All right, hi everyone. I know we haven't been up here for a little while. Obviously, if you see, Bob's still in quarantine, but we decided to come back up tonight and go through a little review of our bow techniques, show you a little bit more, and maybe even go ahead and begin the first bow form so you have something to practice on. All right, so I know again the weather's not as good to be outside, but please take advantage of the nice weather when you can. You know, get your kicking in, get your blocking in, your forms, your one steps, anything that you can do at home, just until we can get back here to class. So what we're going to do today, the first part of this, is we're going to go ahead and have Mr. Schucher demonstrate those techniques that we have done a couple of weeks ago. Then we're going to move into some new techniques, and again at the end today we may go through the first half of our bow form. So right now we're going to go ahead and do a little transition. I'm going to go ahead and start filming. Mr. Schucher's going to get his bow, and we're going to review what we've done so far. All right, everyone, we're back. So what we're going to do first is do a little review. If you look at Mr. Schucher's hands, both of them are palm down. Remember, we call that being in the positive position. And if he would flip his hands over, that's called the negative position. And we talked about how we can do some strikes in the positive, the negative, and one hand in each. So right now, today, we're just going to go ahead and review the down block, how we did it last time. Again, remember with the down block, we want to roll our wrists up. We want to snap that technique down or the bow down. And everything should stop at the same time. We want to move our feet and our hands at the same time. So Mr. Schucher, if you want to just go ahead and step forward, do a few down blocks with the bow to review, go ahead. And as you notice, he's doing it. He's rolling his wrists. He's stepping forward and blocking down like we would a down block. All right, so if you'd like to back up, now we'll do the same thing on the rising block. Again, rolling our wrists up, simulating a rising block or a block to protect our head. So again, Mr. Schucher, when you're ready, please go ahead and step forward and demonstrate. See how he's rolling it, snapping. All motion stops at the same time. Very good. All right, so we're going to step back. The next one that we talked about was doing like an outer forearm block. Now this is just a little different where the bow is going to be at about a 45-degree angle to the side. And whatever side you're blocking, that should be the same side as the foot is forward. So as he does this, I'll maybe talk a little bit as we go forward. So Mr. Schucher, if you want to move forward doing an outer forearm block, and you can see right foot, right side, left foot, left side. Block is about a 45-degree, keeping the bow into 3 equal sections. Okay, thank you. You can back up. Now we talked about a punch, reverse punch or a forward punch. And remember, the chamber is pulling the bow back to the side, much like we would do with our hand upside down. And as we step forward, we want to thrust that out like we would from our hip, keeping the bow on the outside of the forearm. So Mr. Schucher, when you're ready, you can go ahead and demonstrate a couple of bow punches. See how he pulls it back? Step forward and thrust, keeping the bow on the outside of the forearm. Okay, and we'll step back. The next technique we're going to do is the spinning down block. Now, as we did it last time, we just stayed in a horse riding stance. We weren't working on moving forward yet. So today we're just going to do the same thing. Remember, this technique is going to have one hand negative, one hand positive. He happens to be having his right hand negative, so that means when we spin the bow, it's going to be blocking over our right leg. So if you'd like to do one just kind of slow motion to start, remember how it comes up and spins, and it comes down like that. Now I'm going to have you go ahead and switch hand positions, and let's demonstrate one over the left leg. So again now, I'm going to have you just go back to basic position to start, like a ready position. Now switch your hand position so your left hand now is negative. Now when he does it to his left leg, go ahead. That's how we do that. Now, what he did before was going ahead and doing it both sides. That just takes a little bit of, hand-eye coordination. And if you'd like to do that again, just from there, do the one to the right. You just got to work a little bit on how to change the bow back and forth from positive to negative with each hand. And we can work more on that when we actually get into class. But if you want to just do a few basic spinning down blocks right now, go ahead and just kind of demonstrate. Remember how that spins, and it's coming down to doing a down block. All right, so that's what we covered last time. And today what we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and do a few strikes and some punches with the bow. And then again, we'll do it kind of a slow motion, and then we'll speed it up from 2 different angles so you can see how that works. All right. Now we're going to use the bow in a way that we would do strikes and punches. I'm going to demonstrate the open hand version, and then I'm going to go ahead and use a bow. If you remember, in most of the forms past white belt, we learned what we call a knife hand strike, or we just learned how to make a knife hand. Some of those knife hands are in a back stance like this. Sometimes we do it in a horse riding stance. But we're going to show you how you can use the bow as a strike, similar to what we would do with our hand. At Orange Belt, we learned how to do a spear finger, and that's kind of similar to that thrusting that we do forward with the bow. And we also just use our knife hand to come forward and do a knife hand strike. That's similar to like a hammer fist, but we just have our hand open. You know, the previous bow techniques Mr. Schucher did were kind of defensive in nature. Now we're going to go ahead and use the bow to demonstrate some offensive techniques, which will incorporate into our form. So the form will be kind of a mix of everything that you've learned. And again, we'll just give you some basics on it today. But now, using the bow, as we talked about that knife hand strike, it's real easy to use the end of the bow like a strike. And you can just do that from, again, a positive position. And I'm going to go ahead and step my foot forward just so I have a better base. But if I just want to work on moving the bow back and forth around my waist, I can just strike to the side using the end of the bow like I might do a knife hand strike. I can bring it back to the other side. And if you see, I'm keeping it about belt level, trying to keep the bow level, meaning it's not coming up like this. I'm trying to keep it straight across. And if I do it from the side, again, I want to use my wrists. Wrists are important. Remember, it's a tube of toothpaste. I don't want to put a really tight grip on it. From here, I want to snap, okay? Another thing that does when it hits my belt, it stops the bow. It allows it to stop straight ahead rather than bringing it all the way around here. Then my bow is pointed out in the other direction. I can work on snapping it and quick wrists. So I can do this technique simulating a knife hand strike, okay? Now, if I want to do that same thing but just a little higher, I can still step out into my front stance and I can do the same thing, just striking a little higher. Maybe that's a head level strike. Then from here, again, my hands are positive and positive. I'm striking to my left, striking to my right, okay? Hands stay the same. Here, here, all right? I can step forward, here, here. I can just step forward and do one at a time if I want to practice this, all right? So, again, simulating a knife hand strike, either low or high, all right? Again, when I'm doing it high, I'm striking it on the outside of my shoulder. When I'm doing it low, I'm right on my belt, all right? Again, stopping it from going clear out here. Keep your shoulders square. Keep that bow nice and straight, all right? Now, so we've got strikes low. We have strikes high. Now I'm going to kind of use the bow in a situation like when we warm up in class. We do our hand techniques. We do our punches. Remember how we take a fighting stance and we work on jab high, reverse punch low, we do a hook, we do an uppercut. We can make the bow do the same thing. Remember, the bow is just an extension of our hands. So if we want to simulate those same techniques, just for warming up, just for practicing, I can take my bow, and again, remember that reverse punch we talked about at the very beginning today? If I bring my bow back, all right, that's going to be kind of our chamber for our reverse punch, all right? And we're going to kind of use those strikes we just did and we talked about as our hook punch. But to get started with just the jab, I want you to think about the bow in the middle. You know we have three separate parts as the striking surface. All right? So when I slide my foot forward, and I think it'll be easiest if I just walk forward each time I do one of these punches, I'm going to slide forward and strike. It's not the block, it's more of a strike going forward. So I'm using this to maybe strike towards the head. That's my jab. All right? Now, as I said, when I pull back for the chamber, I'm moving forward. That's my reverse punch. All right? Now, we talked about a hook punch, and I said a strike to the side could simulate that. I'm going to move forward, strike as my hook. Now, here's the new one. I'm going to demonstrate an uppercut. What I'm going to do is this. As I step forward with my right foot, the hand position is going to change, and I'm going to put that at a negative spot on the bow. I'm going to drop that bow down, making kind of a half circle or a J, and then pop it up hard like that, all right? And if you see it from the side, it looks like this. I come down and then pop it up, keeping it close to my body. The end of the bow is simulating my fist doing an uppercut to the chin, all right? Now, another way that this could be used is this circular motion is also used as a sweep. If I was going to take out somebody's front leg, I would use the bow low to sweep their leg, continue up like that, and make a sweeping motion, or like a reaping throw we practice too, coming down low and then snapping it up to sweep them to off their feet. But I'm going to use that as a uppercut. So I'm going to walk through this again and show you how you can maybe make your punches work with the bow. So again, there's your jab, reverse, hook, uppercut. So again, you can put that together any way you want, but that's simulating our 4-punch sequence. Jab, reverse, hook, uppercut. So that's something you can have fun with and you can play around with. You can do it in different patterns. You know, you could do like a double jab even without moving the foot forward. You know, then your reverse punch. You could go hook, hook, stepping forward, uppercut. Do what you like, but that just kind of gives you an idea of how we can make our punches, you know, effective with the bow. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pause this. We're going to go ahead and then set up and go through the first few moves of the form to give you something to practice on at home. Okay, so this first bow form I made up just incorporates all the basic techniques. It's nothing fancy, but it just gives you an outline. You can always add to it as you get more comfortable with the bow. I mean, if you're a good person that can, you know, spin the bow, do figure eights, you can always add that stuff. But this is just a basic technique to get you, you know, accustomed to the bow and putting it into a form-like pattern. So the first thing we're going to do is from our ready position like this, with both hands being on the positive, I'm going to turn to my left like we start most forms, and I'm going to do a down block. So I'm going to walk through this slow. I'm going to roll it up. I'm going to turn to my left, and I'm going to do a block low. Now, as we just practiced that knife hand strike, I'm going to do 3 of those at the hip level. I'm going to go to my right, to my left, back to my right. All right? So that's how I'm going to do it to the left. I'm going to bring my left foot in, bring in the bow. Again, it's kind of like chambering it. Step to the right, down block. Now I'm going to go to my left. Strike, strike, strike. Now from here, I'm going to come back to the center. We always want to stay center. And I'm going to move forward doing a rising block, pulling it back, down block. And you notice I did not step with that. I went rising block, down block. Now, here's another technique I'm going to show you. It's almost similar to like that chopping down with a knife hand, but I'm going to bring the bow up towards my shoulder. And then as I step forward, I'm going to come over the top like this, simulating a strike down, kind of like that hammer fist we talked about. I just came down and I struck like I'm striking maybe on the top of the head, on the shoulder. All right, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to step forward doing that uppercut or that sweep. So as I step forward, look what's going on with my left hand. I am pushing it. So I'm going from a positive, I'm pushing it, and at the same time I'm going to step forward with my left foot into a back stance. Now, if you notice what's happening with my left hand, it's going to be in a negative position. My right hand's positive. And then I just pop it up. That's like that uppercut punch. So walking through that again, just kind of slow after that overhand strike. I open it up as I'm stepping forward. And this is where you've got to kind of just work with your hands and just feel comfortable with this. Open that left hand, stepping forward. At the same time my left foot stops, I want to stop that bow. All right, so this is just like an uppercut. It's not the sweeping part. It's just coming forward, popping it up. Now, we're going to do 2 more moves, and I think that's a good place to stop for the day. Now I want to thrust the bow high. So this is like doing a reverse punch higher. I'm going to thrust it high, maybe head level. Then, as we always talk about, a form is a simulated fight scene, defending yourself against people from all different areas in front, behind, left, right, angles. So I came up, and I did my thrust. Now I want to thrust behind. Still staying in a front stance, just going to thrust and look behind me. All right, so again, defending myself against that attacker from the rear. Now, we're going to go back and do that again. From ready position, I'm going to again turn to my left, down block. 3 quick strikes, coming up to the right, block. 3 quick strikes, back to the center, high then low. Stepping forward with my right foot, bringing the bow in. See again how it's towards my right shoulder, pointed straight ahead, over the top. Left foot sliding forward, uppercut. Thrust high, thrust low. All right? Now, I'm going to do that from the side too, and hopefully you can pick this up just so you get an idea of what it looks like from the side. So from ready position, okay, I'm going to turn to my left, and here's my down block. Now you'll get an idea of what the strikes look like from the side. Here, here, here. Nice and close to the body. I come in, I'm blocking. I come back to the center, high then low. Then I'm going to do step 4. The overhead strike, the uppercut, thrust high, thrust low. Now eventually with this form, as I said, we can add more to it. And you guys will work on the speed of the techniques. There's some of these moves that will go better together faster. Some of them are designed to be slower, but we can work on that when we all get back together. And one nice thing about being here is we could all go to the gym or outside with our bows in the summertime. And we could go out there and work on this stuff and have lots of room to do that. So we don't have to worry about, running into each other. But again, those are just some of the basic techniques, and that's just the first part of the form. You can go out and search bow techniques on YouTube, get ideas from lots of different people. I'm just trying to teach a few basics right now to kind of get you interested in it. And we can keep adding to this, but also part of this is your creativity. I want to see what you can do too. So maybe work on, some people like to do the figure 8 techniques, and that's fine to work on. There's some spinning techniques that you can do. If you are able to do that, go ahead and work on that. I mean, that just takes a lot of wrist movement and a lot of practice, but feel free to practice that stuff, and that'll just make your bow form that much better. So keep training hard. Again, hopefully we'll see you soon back in class. And later tonight after I post this, I'm going to probably do some more quizzes. I know we've kind of missed out on the adults, so tonight I probably will do 2 adult questions, and then again, another one for the kids 5 to 12, one for 13 to 17, and we'll try to do 2 questions tonight for the adults. So thank you to Mr. Schucher for helping out, and we hope to see you soon.